chicken or egg. Take like 7. If I don't get it right this time, it'll be 8. Uh, Here we are. The first few ones, I think I said everything I wanted to say, and then I listened, and then there were some things that I missed because my mind developed these things as I was going through the listening process. Well, this is what I have for you without getting too carried away. Blasphemy, by definition, one moment, I'm going to Google search it so that way nobody ever tries to say that I tried. Once again, I never try to pull the wool, even though I know what the words is. There we go. Here we go. The act or offense of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things, profane talk, profanity, sacrilege, irreligion, irreverence, taking the Lord's name in vain, swearing, cursing, impiety, desecration, archaic execration, execration. Look that word up. I like that one. One moment. Excuse me, y'all. This is how we all learn. To declare hateful or abhorrent, denounce. To feel loathing for, abhor. Okay, I love it. So, pretty much saying for you to hate God. So many words. Mm-hmm. You must hate him to do any of these things to him. So, with that said and spoke on, I would like to poke in the eye the blasphemous act, the sacrilegious speaking, for a man that I talked to this weekend. It was awkward. It was almost as if he had been listening to videos of another person that I know. And he said something like this. I said, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. I said, and God said, let us. He said, that us isn't the angels. It's actually the fallen ones. It's our gods of this world. And I said, no, those are not, that's not true. I say, because then, if that's the case, from chapter 1, verse 26, when you go to verse 18 of chapter 2, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. Let us. Hold on one moment. Why is there then the happening again of us? So on just that tandem alone, we have to be able to differentiate what's happening and what has happened. So if I picked up at verse 28 of chapter 1 of the Genesis, and I said like this, and God blessed them, saying, and I'm going to skip around and do my own thing. I'm telling the story the way that I read it, okay? Once again, I'm not adding to nor taking away from. I will go back and read what I have not read once I stress what I'm trying to stress to you. One moment. And God said, let us make man according to our image. This is verse 26. And let them have dominion over the fish of the seas, and over the flying creatures of heaven, and over the cattle and all the earth, and over all the reptiles that creep on the earth. Stop right there. And God blessed them, saying, increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it. Skip Skip. And when it came to pass, when man began to be numerous upon the earth, this is chapter 6, verse 2, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God, the angels of God, having seen the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, took to themselves wives of all whom they chose. Okay, let's go back again to chapter 2, verse 4. This is the book of the generation of heaven and earth, when they were made, in the day in which the Lord God made the heaven and the earth, and every herb of the field before it was on the earth, and all the grass on the field before it sprang up. For God had not rained on the earth. So this is supplemental to the God and Lord God. I don't know what to call it. They start the Bible with, and God, in the beginning, so God created the heaven and the earth, or God made the heaven and the earth, excuse me. And I just think it's a little awkward because, well, in good old chicken or egg fashion, what would be the need to create a man with a soul? Hold on. For you to tell the same man you create with the soul, listen, I want you to listen to this. I'm going to read exactly how Adam is created. Tell me if it makes sense to you that this happened in this order. It could not have. But there rose a fountain, verse 6, chapter 2. But there rose a fountain out of the earth, and watered the whole face of the earth. So if the earth was round and it got... Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. And God formed the man of the dust of the earth, and breathed upon his face the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Stop. We're going to skip back to Genesis chapter 6 real quick. Hold on. Down. Verse 2. And it came to pass, when man began to be numerous upon the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God, having seen the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, took to themselves wives of all whom they chose. And the Lord God said, hold up, what did he say? My spirit shall certainly not remain among these men forever, comma, so this is to go with it, because they are flesh, comma, but their days shall be 120 years. Hold the phone, please. Somebody. Did he not just do this for the man in chapter 2, verse 7? And God formed the man of the dust of the earth, and breathed upon his face the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So how could his spirit that he just breathed upon the man not be compatible with his flesh? Unless we're talking about this. Chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man according to our image. Hold on one moment. Image is what, by definition, if y'all don't remember? A representation of the external form of a person or thing in art. A visible expression obtained by a camera, telescope, microscope, or other device, displayed on a computer or video screen. An optical appearance or counterpart produced by light or other radiation from an object, reflected by a mirror or refracted through a lens. Are you hearing me? A simile or metaphor. The general impression that a person, organization, or product presents to the public. Semblance or likeness. In biblical use, an idol, icon, fetish, totem. Are you hearing it? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But the first one is the one that I wanted you to get. A representation of the external form of a person or thing in art, likeness or resemblance. A representation. So this is, we're going to make something in our representation, first off, hold on, and then in our likeness. So in their likeness is what, people? Do we not remember that either? Likeness? That one. The fact or quality of being alike. Resemblance. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Let's say I wanted to make you in my image, but I didn't want to make you out of the same thing I was made out of. Right? So therefore you're not made all the way like me. Right? But if I make you in my image and what I'm made out of, hold on, I'm not talking blasphemy right now because I'm going to explain the genetic equation in Genesis chapter 6 right now. And I don't give you the one last thing that would make you completely like me, which is my spirit. Right? Okay. So what happens when the constitution of the flesh that is already similar or alike to is introduced to the other part of the genetic material that was withheld or not given to them? This is what happens. Now giants were upon the earth in those days, and after that, when the sons of God were wont to go into the daughters of men, they bore children to them. Those were the giants of old, the men of renown. That's what happens when you give someone the likeness, not just the image, but the likeness, right, of the Most High, along with the image to make them a giant and the men of renown. Hold on, stop, right? And then also, because this is what happens, the flesh material that they are made from is not the same earth material that the man is made from. Therefore, when the Most High tells the man in Genesis chapter 3, just like this, verse 18 of chapter 3, and to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and eaten of the tree concerning which I charged thee, of it only not to eat, of that thou hast eaten, cursed is the ground in thy labors, and pain shalt thou eat of it all thy days of thy life. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat thy bread until thou return to the earth out of which thou wast taken. For the earth thou art, and to the earth thou shalt return. Stop. So, and if you think I'm wrong, hold on. This is not what happened to the first man. He said, and God said, behold, one moment, and right by God it says, there's the Alexandrian, so you can add the Lord. So, and the Lord God said, behold, Adam is become as one of us, to know good and evil, as the serpent said that he would become, or that they would become, as like gods. One moment. And now, lest at any time he stretch forth his hand, and take of the tree of life and eat, and so shall he live forever. Right on. He would have been a real living man God. Excuse me. So the Lord God sent forth out of the garden of delight to cultivate. So the Lord God sent him forth out of the garden of delight to cultivate the ground out of which he was taken. Stop. Did the Most High say that the person in Genesis chapter 6 was taken out of the ground, or that they were flesh? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Until these two bloodlines mix their bodies, do they become one? And furthermore, Adam did not know he was taken from the ground, because remember, he told the woman in Genesis chapter 2, he says to the woman, and one moment, verse 23, chapter 2, and Adam said, this now is bone of my bones, or out of my bones. One moment, right? And flesh of my flesh. And she shall be called woman, And right by the word woman is another word, and it means wife. Excuse me, because she was taken out of her husband. And right there, it says in the Hebrew, the reason of the name appears, she shall be called Isha. Once again, I'm going over this because she was taken out of Ish or Ish. Isha because she was taken out of Ish. Anyhow, before I get any more carried away, the blasphemy that I'm trying to approach, that the people have been speaking, is that if you're saying the us is the same us in chapter 1 and chapter 2, well, where's the Most High when all this is happening? Right. If you're saying that there's clone armies while the Most High is creating his own people, well, where's the Most High at? Right. It's blasphemy. At very best, it's wishful thinking, but it teeters the line very powerfully. It just sounds like blasphemy to me, but that's okay. This is what they're going to be doing to people later on, pulling their words up and scrutinizing them. Chicken or egg, people? Do you believe the Most High created everything and it was perfect first, and then there was issues? Or the Most High created everything while there was just a bunch of drama going on, and then he told a lie to you pretty much? And that you were lied to. Right. Right. I refuse to believe the latter. I believe the first. It was perfect, and then someone came and messed it all up. That's neither here nor there. Chicken or egg. You choose. It's not my choice.